Just want to say, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. This meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. Is there anybody else in the room recording? Okay, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody. I really don't have any comments at the moment regards to anything. Charlie, do you have anything for the town administrator's report?
The only thing I wanted to recognize that Melissa Morrissey is here in the audience, our new treasurer collector, and so very, very grateful to have Melissa here starting. I was late this morning and I called down to make sure she showed up, so. So anyway, welcome to Melissa. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is Eric and I did a tour of the South Shore Regional VOTEC High School last Friday, and it was really good for me just to sort of understand some of the variables with their programming, and we got to talk a lot about the scheduling for the construction project phasing as well, and Meg and I are trying to work that into our forecast document. So that was a great meeting, and we're having another meeting with them next Friday to go over their budgets, and I'll talk about budgets separately later on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ashley, can you grab the, see if there's anybody in the public comment? Mr. Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road.
Hi, Happy New Year, everybody. Joe Pasevich, 25 Wilson Road. We're getting into the budget process now. And my initial exposure to some of the numbers that were thrown out at your most recent meeting has already got me concerned. It seems to me that we're underestimating our revenues and we're overestimating or providing it, or there's a lack of information about expenses coming up. It looks to me like and I'm going by the set of revenue projections that were provided, by the interim town administrator. And there's a lot of confusion about it, so I'm not going to get into the weeds on the numbers and how the numbers don't seem to make sense to some of us. But I just want to remind the select board that you work for the taxpayers. A lot of people, their cost of living increases, whether they're on pensions or Social Security, are being swallowed up by expenses and increases that aren't covered when the COLA is calculated. So we're all like losing money. Just remember, and just the fact that paid employees of the town are developing budgets, to me, there's a conflict of interest that's inherent, and we've got to recognize that. So it's up to the select board to be the guardians for the taxpayers, because that's who put you in office. So please be very diligent and try to keep us from all going in the hole. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Ms. Peg Davis, New Street?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit later.
Just remind me.
I will.
All right, so at 6 o'clock, we have appointments. One of them's going to be continued, probably. That would be the Verizon one. So we'll move on to some other articles that we can take up here. Is Greg Demon here, or is he still?
He said to come and grab him. Do you want me to grab him?
Yeah, we can take up one of the donations for the time being. Well, how about we do the the gift account, or the gifting for the Council on Aging. So that'd be item number 14. I move that the board vote to approve with gratitude, actually, I should say, that would be an account from Godham and Merchant for $1,200. So I want to say thank you for the donation. Steve, do you have any comments?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thank you.
I move that the board vote to approve with gratitude a gift of $1,200 to the Council on Aging from Godham Merchant and Wednesday Bridge Group. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right. Go back to. All right. So this is going to be a declaration of restrictive covenant for 76 Texas Street from the Planning Department. So Greg, you want to give us a description of what this is all about, please?
Sure. Good evening. Greg Guimon. I'm the town planner. Also live at Ice House Lane. Texas Street is a street improvement down in the Kent Park area. The area has a high water table, has had flooding in the past in the area. Residents, during their permitting process, made it very clear they were concerned about that. This is the first time we've done this with a street improvement, but it was recommended by an attorney who also happens to be a next-door neighbor of the project. And this would ensure that the drainage is either taken care of by the people that own the road and own the lot, or in case they don't, the town has the ability to go in, fix whatever the problem is, and then charge them for those repairs.
So is it, how often are we expecting this to be maintained?
It could be once a year, it could be a couple of times a year, depending on leaves, et cetera, any kind of drainage issues. It's a fairly simple system. It's pitched to one side with a Cape Cod berm, and it brings it to the back where there's a catch basin. It's an underground water storage facility that will, at one point, will need to be pumped out, depending on how much, if there's sand and stuff getting into that catch basin that isn't covered by the trap. So in the catch basin, it drops down, and there's a sump for the sand and stuff to settle, so it doesn't go into the drainage structure. But over time, that will build up. And if it is not pumped, then it will clog up that drainage structure.
So you said it could be anywhere from once to a couple of times a year, so who's going to make the determining factor in regards to how often that should be cleaned up?
I have a feeling we'll hear from the residents in the neighborhood pretty quickly if there's a drainage problem. Then we would notify the people to go and improve it, and if they don't, then we would ask the DPW to go in, and then they would be charged for whatever needs to be done.
All right. Steve, any questions?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thank you, Greg.
Welcome.
All right, I move that the board vote to accept the proposed declaration of restricted covenant for the property located at 76 Texas Street as presented by the planning department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The board has to sign that also, so that the applicant can record it.
Move on to number 3. This will be an appointment for the Agent Dementia Friendly Steering Committee. Does Joan F. Wright happen to be here? All right. Steve, any questions or comments?
No, I saw her resume. She's very well qualified. She'll be a great fit.
Yeah, it was, when I read it, you're absolutely right. It's she's very impressive. Trish?
Agreed.
I move that the board vote to approve the appointment of Joan F. Wright to the Age and Dementia Friendly Steering Committee for a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2028. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 This will be an appointment for the Historic Commission, Cemetery Commission, number 4. There are 2 candidates interested in joining the Historic Cemetery Commission, Carolyn Shanley and Jim Moran. Jim has applied to be a member of our commission recently. His application should be on file. Carolyn has been active in the town for quite a while. And James Moran, he sent in his resume and pretty extensive himself in regards to what his career has been like through his lifetime. Do you have any comments or questions, Steve?
No, those will be 2 natural fits, so good applicants.
Trish?
All set.
Okay. I move that the board vote to approve the appointment of Carolyn Shanley and Jim Moran to the Historic Cemetery Commission for a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2028. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Number 5. This will be announce the opening of a special town meeting. Do you have any comments or questions on this, Steve?
About the opening and closing of the warrant?
Yeah.
Just if folks were curious, the annual town meeting warrant opened on January 5th. And then it closes, let's see, on the 26th. And then,
The 26th, 22nd?
so the 26th is the annual, but the special, we're opening tonight on the 12th. And then the window for that, the special town meeting warrant opens on the 17th of February.
Yes.
And then closes on the 27th. So if folks are just curious, the thresholds are different in terms of citizen petition articles for the annual portion and the special portion. The special portion requires a higher total of signatures. So I just wanted to let folks know if they were curious that, again, the annual portion of town meeting, the warrant closes January 26th. With respect to the special portion of town meeting, that opens February 17th and it closes on February 27th. That's all I had to say.
Could you read those dates again, please?
Yes,
For the annual or for the special?
All of them, good, a bunch of them.
so the annual town meeting warrant closes on January 26th.
Okay.
The special portion of town meeting, the warrant opens February 17th, and it closes on February 27th.
Questions or comments, Trish?
No.
All right. I move that the board vote to announce the opening and closing of the special town meeting warrant for publication in the local newspaper, on website, and posted by town clerk with the spring 2026 STM warrant opening February 17th, 2026, and closing February 27, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You missed number 1. I don't know if you want to go back.
I can roll back to it.
Okay.
Charlie, it says no motion on item 6, budget update and development of 27 operating budget. So do you want to give some brief on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So As you know, Meg and I, LeMay, our town accountant, spent a lot of time on the revenue and expenditure forecast. We presented that a few weeks ago. And so we'll continue to monitor that and update the town on progress. And I think you'll see some significant developments over the next few weeks. So then what's the other part of what we're up to? And that is the draft operating budget for fiscal 2027 for the town budget. So Megan, Danielle Kelligan and I have been meeting with department heads to start to format the initial budget presentation. And I think that, we have a lot of budget hearings scheduled all this week. We hope to have an initial meeting finished with all our department heads by the end of this week with a couple of stragglers. Megan, Danielle, and I, next week, I'll be working remotely, but we'll start to sort of fashion the whole budget, put it together. And the whole idea of this part of the exercise, and we are late. This is something that I would have wanted to start earlier, but we all know the situation that we're dealing with. So the whole idea of this exercise is to present a draft budget to the select board and to the advisory board. And that's really the next step in the process, is we'll put this together with the best knowledge we have, talking and working directly with our department heads. And then the select board will start, in my mind, you should start meeting with your department heads to review these budgets and to make sure that you understand them, that you have any questions about what they've put together, then we can follow up on that. So that really is the process that we're talking about. And then relative to, some of the other variables, when I'm working remotely, Ashley and I have already started working on the warrant for the 2026 annual and special town meeting. The budget is a part of that, just but one piece of it. And so when I'm working remotely, I'll also be working on that, the warrant, so that I can get that to the select board a little earlier than I think that you've gotten it in the past. Because I really want the select board in particular to have an opportunity to meet with department heads, boards and committees on proposals that they have before them. And I think from a presentation standpoint, I want to try to manage this process so that we can get as many votes of the advisory board and the select board in the warrant book before we go to print. And then, we can work with town council to finalize that. So these are all the things that, I would say we're a little stressed because we're a little behind on, but we're making good progress. And I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to present something to the select board that's in pretty good condition and shape.
Can I ask a question? When do you expect to go out to print? I'm just trying to get a timeline in my mind.
Yeah, you mean for the warrant itself? Yeah, that would really be,
We usually do it in March.
yeah, sometime in March.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So in the same thing, I'm going to work with town council as I'm drafting this warrant. I don't want to give it to town council at the last minute. I'll give him updates as I go along, so the language is good. And the same thing on the warrant and the budget. We want to share that with department heads early, so that if they, see our boards or committees, if they see omissions, if they see errors, that we can get this in the very best shape that we possibly can prior to the annual town meeting. Because the last thing we want to do is have a series of amendments on town meeting floor. I think it's confusing to people. So that's the effort that we're going to go through over the next couple of months.
Anything, Steve?
Yes, Charles, I know there's a lot on your plate, but this is something that I brought up and floated a few times. Do you see any time we could put on the calendar to perhaps do a joint meeting with the school committee to talk about the school budget?
Yeah, I have had some preliminary conversations with the school superintendent. I think that's a great idea, and I will talk to Superintendent Sullivan about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think, on that same note, let's face it, as we get it, I've always told the select board and the public that as we get into that first part of February, probably that February 10th, let's say the first third of February, we'll update the financial forecast to reflect state aid and assessments that we're going to be getting by then. It'll be a lot more accurate. So, yeah, that would be a great time, I think, to do that.
Thank you.
If they're willing.
I think they will. Extend an olive branch and you might be pleasantly surprised.
New year.
We shall see.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Before we go on to 7, we have some gentlemen here for item number 12. I just want to get out of the way before we run into the time of the appointments. So this is for Ocean Brew and Bites, correct? So this is a common victual license for
Common victual.
Milan Bassnet at the address of 7289 Ocean Street. The name of the business, Ocean Brew and Bites. The hours of operation are going to be 5 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I think it's 1289.
What is that, Trish?
It's 1289 Ocean. I think you're.
Oh, so I read,
Like a 7.
Oh, you know something? You are absolutely correct. Yes, 1289 Ocean Street. Thank you, Trish, for that correction. The building department, they need to have new sign permits. The ZBA is not required. Property tax paid, yes. I think they have to meet some recommendations in regards to indoor mop sink from the Board of Health. So do you guys want to speak on it, or?
Yes,
I think so.
but thank you very much for tonight and doing this for us. And you guys should please come check us out. We're new to the neighborhood, and yes, everything is all set. The mop sink, we are working on it with the health department. Other than that, we're good. We're ready to serve you guys fresh coffee and pastries.
Oh, I thought it was brew like beer.
That might come.
Maybe down the road.
That would help.
That might come.
Hey,
That's why I asked for
One step at a
samples.
time.
You would corner the market opening at 5 a.m.
Meeting a need, though.
They both make you happy, so.
That's how I wish you guys well on it.
Thank you so much.
Do you have anything to add, Steve?
No, if folks are curious, they're open at 5 a.m. so they can get their coffee fix nice and early on their way into work.
Yes, we decided that. Yes, we decided that. We're gonna see how it works,
Yeah.
but we decided.
Get ahead of
we gotta
everybody
help
else?
Yeah, we gotta help our early people.
Absolutely. Do you have anything to add, Trish?
No, I leave at 5:30, so that's good.
Oh yeah, so you know where to find us.
Yeah.
Where exactly are you guys next to?
By the Major League Pizza, on that little strip mall, kind of.
All right, so I move that the board vote to approve a common victual license for Ocean Brew and Bites located at 1289 Ocean Street, contingent upon the installation of a compliant indoor mop sink and a satisfactory pre-operation inspection by the Board of Health confirming full appliance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
good
so
luck, gentlemen.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you, guys.
Stuff like
I don't drink coffee.
No?
Neither do I. All right, Charlie, got about 5 minutes to discuss the Plymouth County Retirement Board. Do you think you can do it then?
We can do it less, yeah.
All right.
So I've attached a copy of a letter that was sent by the town of East Bridgewater to the Plymouth County Retirement Board. And if you look at one of your budget items, and that's our assessment for the Plymouth County Retirement Board, and just to give you an idea, that's in the approximate range of about $10 million per year in the town budget. Now, back in, when I first started working in local government in 1979, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, all the local retirement districts had a huge unfunded pension liability. We had employees working, they were only contributing about 5% of their pay towards the retirement system, and hence there was a huge unfunded liability facing the communities. So back in 1988, the pension reform legislation was passed, and what that said is that employees had to pay more. So your average employee, like Ashley, young employee, pays about, in the end, about 13% of their pay into their pension system to offset their future retirement costs. And the thing about employees of today, employees of today pay about 75% of their retirement costs through their own contributions. So I think there is a misnomer about that. But anyway, what happened when we adopted pension reform in 1988 is they said towns, municipalities had to deal with the unfunded liability. The number was so huge, it was almost a 40-year schedule to fully fund the unfunded liability. But we've made good progress in the Commonwealth as a whole. In the town of Marshfield's case, your share of the pension system is about 70% funded. So you went from 0 to 70% from 1988. And the goal is to have the unfunded pension liability paid off by, I think, around the year 2035. So it's on the horizon. We've made good progress, and things are going in the right direction. What East Bridgewater is basically saying is, in light of the financial issues that their community is dealing with, that they wrote a letter to the Barnstable, that's my Cape Cod thing, to the Plymouth County Retirement Board, saying, what if we delayed the finish year for fully funded by several years? It would reduce our costs during this most critical period. So the question I have for the Select Board is, would you be interested in sending a similar letter to see if we can get some relief on the unfunded liability side by extending the payout schedule by several years? I think it's a good idea.
I think we'd be foolish not to entertain that.
Yeah. So I would just need a motion. I don't know how I,
It's also, it was supposed to be fully funded by 2031, so that's,
thank you.
I mean, that's only, what, 5 years away? So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we push that out, it makes sense.
Question is, how much would they push it out, I guess, sort of thing.
Yeah, that'll be some of the dialogue with all the member communities. They usually would invite us in for a conversation. But would you want to send a letter?
Yeah?
Yeah, when we're talking about like a menu of options, that's definitely one of the big ticket items on the list. And whenever there's some sort of Plymouth County get-together, our counterparts across Plymouth County are having this exact same conversation we are. So we don't lose anything by asking for information for what the schedule would look like pushed out
No,
1 year
not at
over
all.
a series of years.
So what are we paying into it? 10 million, you said, a year?
Well, 10 million, that includes not only the unfunded liability, but our share of employee costs today. But yeah, your bill is about $10 million annually.
Geez, we can get that knocked down. It could make a big difference on the overall scope of things for us, right?
Yeah, it could, let's say even if it was $400,000 or $500,000 in light of what we're dealing with, it wouldn't, these are all part of the solutions, right?
Right.
Variables that we can look at and deal with as we go down this road.
All right, so I'll make a motion for Charlie to send a letter to the Plymouth County Retirement Board to ask for a
I think a
discuss the
delay,
possibility of options for a date for fully funding
Yeah.
the retirement system and the effects of the annual retirement assessments have on the ability of the member units to balance budget, retain employees, and continue to provide service to the residents of their communities and districts. Is that good enough?
it's perfect.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye,
All right.
Thank you.
It's almost 6 o'clock.
perfect timing.
We have an appointment at 6 PM for Salty Days, Marshfield, coming up.
Gentleman has come up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is
Oh,
Ben.
hold on a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I move that the select board vote to open a public hearing scheduled at 6 PM on the proposed transfer of the on-premises all alcoholic beverage license from Salt Marsh Restaurant Group LLC to Salty Days Marshfield LLC, DBA Salt Days Fish Company, and to approve Sean M. McDaniel as manager of record for the premises at 1899 Ocean Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, currently Ocean House, containing a single-story unit consisting of 2 rooms, 1 kitchen, and a dining area with a bar and approximately 5,000 square feet, as well as an outdoor seating consisting of approximately 400 square feet on the sidewalk along the street. So conduct of hearing, we read the public notice. Oh, actually, do we have to take a vote, Bob, to open
Yeah,
this?
just take a vote to open the public
All right,
hearing.
so do I have a second to open this hearing?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye?
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right. So we read the hearing notice, reviewed the documentation, already did that. So, so you want to make a presentation there? Is it Sean?
My name is actually Ben Cody. I'm an attorney. I represent Sean and his company, Salty Day Fish Co. So what they're looking to do is actually purchase the restaurant that's currently operating as Ocean House Grill. And they are going to operate in the same location, very much in the same way, but making cosmetic changes to update the decor and implement an entirely new menu. So my client, Mr. McDaniel, is a successful restaurateur. He owns a restaurant in Cohasset. He lives in Marshfield, and this would be his second location. So they're seeking an all-alcohol liquor license transfer from the existing owner, and they're hoping to be open by the summer. So they are working diligently with the landlord and the seller to make that happen. And if the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I mean, all the paperwork I went through looked good. I guess the only thing that comes to mind for me is, are you changing the name?
Yes, so it would be the Salty Days Fish Company.
It would be the Salty Day, okay.
Yes, so it would be the same brand as their existing location in Cohasset, so it'd be a second location.
That's all I had. Steve, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
All right.
Chairman, could I just have a quick question?
Yeah.
Is there a period of time when you'd be closed for renovations? Because the liquor rules require you to tell the selectmen if that's gonna happen, and you could do it proactively if you did it tonight.
Sure. So my understanding is that the lease would become effective upon the liquor license transfer approval. And my clients informed me that it would take about 30 to 60 days for the renovations to occur. So I'd ask for permission for the opening to be about 60 days from ABCC approval.
Anybody from the public have questions? All right. So we have to close it and then close the hearing, Bob, and,
Yep, close and you can take a vote. If you need to deliberate, you can too.
all right, so I'm going to motion to close the public portion of the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right. Is there anything to discuss?
No, we do it all the time. I mean, we used to close hat ads every January, just as like a clerical matter, so I'm fine with giving them permission up to 60 days, and if they need more, they can come back to us.
So you want to add that in as part of the contingent 60 days limit?
Yeah, they can be close to 60 days, and if they need more than that, they can, come back to us.
Okay.
Just to square them all away
I'm not
today.
sure if we're muted. Is it appropriate to, we are the applicants, Sean McDaniel
Oh,
and Doug McGregor here on Zoom.
Hold on there. We just closed everything,
Yeah,
so,
you closed it. I mean, if you want to reopen to allow them to speak, you're welcome to do that.
all right. So, all right, do Do I have a second to reopen the hearing?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
Sorry to cause confusion. We didn't want to interrupt if we didn't have to, but we were just sitting here saying, we actually, our plan with our general contractor is to be doing a full cosmetic renovation. He estimates to be about 90 days, so we didn't want to be wrong about that today. So it will be closed, the sign will be removed, the windows will be papered over, and what we hope to be about, our forecast is about 90 days of work.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it, unless you have a question for Sean, who's the operator and operates the location in Cohasset.
I don't. Steve?
No.
Trish?
No.
Okay.
I had one further item. If the board's interested, I have the green cards on the notices, and I also have proof of service by publication if you'd like to supplement the application.
You can just give them to Ashley.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to close the public portion of the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right. And I'll just ask, just for no discussion between you two? All right. I move that the select board vote to approve the proposed transfer of the on-premises all alcoholic beverage license from Salt Marsh Restaurant Group LLC to Salty Days Marshfield LLC, DBA Salt Days Fish Company, and to approve Sean M. McDaniel as manager of record for the premises at 1899 Ocean Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, currently Ocean House, containing a single-story unit consisting of 2 rooms, 1 kitchen, and 1 a dining area with a bar and approximately 5,000 square feet, as well as an outdoor seating consisting of approximately 400 square feet on the sidewalk along the street. And we condition it with the approval of a 90-day closing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye.
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you
I wish
very
you well.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, this is 6:10, we got a couple minutes. Is there? To number 13, be another donation. December 31st, 2025. Dear members of the Select Board, on behalf of the Ventures Memorial Library, I'm writing to formally request your acceptance of a $160 donation from the South of Boston Knitting Guild in appreciation of using the library's meeting room for their monthly Knitting Guild meetings. Also, a $25 donation in honor of Mary Gina Stillwell from Andrew and Marianne Boothroyd. We're sincerely grateful for their generosity and continued support of the library. Thank you for your consideration. Cindy J. Marcoux. And we have another one, November 24, 2025. Dear members of the Select Board, on behalf of the Ventures Memorial Library, I'm writing to formally request your acceptance of a generous $5,000 donation from the Friends of the Ventures Memorial Library. These funds are to be used to purchase materials. We are sincerely grateful for their generous contribution. Thank you for your consideration, Cindy J. Marcoux. I move that the board vote to approve with gratitude a gift of $5,000 to the Ventures Memorial Library from the Friends of Ventures Memorial Library. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 We could square net away.
Yeah, no, it says, I just realized that, so, yeah. All right. Actually, we can't square that away, we gotta do the hearing real quick, at least the continuance.
Sorry, Ned. You're stuck with us.
All right, 6:10. I move that the select board vote to open the public hearing scheduled for 6:10 pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 166, Sections 21-22, in the Town of Marshfield Small Cell Wireless Facilities Policy on the proposed grant of location application allowing installation by Centerline Communications LLC in the connection with Verizon Wireless of 3 small wireless facilities within the Town of Marshfield's public right-of-way. Marshfield, Mass. SC06-VZ pole number 7, 175 Ocean Street. Marshfield, Mass. SC07 utility pole number 1S, 5 Water Street. And Marshfield, Mass. SC10 pole number 77A, 1190 Ocean Street of said Town of Marshfield. So the applicant had a scheduling conflict. He was not able to make the meeting. The applicant requests to be moved to 1/26 or any Monday in February. So, Bob, what do you think? We should just open this and then
Yep.
the committee wants to have a discussion on it?
Open the public hearing, and then you can continue it. I made a suggestion earlier today, I don't know if you saw it, that sometimes we want the engineer, the planner, and the superintendent of public works to take a look at these things.
Yeah, we can get into it. Let's open it first and then.
Yeah.
I motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye?
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
Okay. So Steve, do you have any comments or questions in regards to this?
No, I'll just take it up whenever they're ready at a future date.
Okay. Trish?
I hope it helps my Verizon service.
Yeah.
It's been awful.
All right, Bob, so you made a proposal there in regards to what maybe we should be doing, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think maybe it would be a good idea to send this over to Greg Geemond, to Ken Ryan at the DPW, and to the town engineer that works for Ken now, and have them take a look at this. The way these kind of go is, federal law says that when there's a gap in service coverage, which there probably is in this area for 5G service, federal law kind of almost creates a presumption that these are permissible. We created this policy a few years back to actually put some local rights and to kind of ask some questions. You're not really able to deny unless it's a real material issue if there's a gap in coverage, but I thought it might be helpful for you all to allow them to do it. They're going to have what they call a radio frequency engineer come in and testify that there's a gap here. And once they establish that gap, it's really difficult to deny them. But, you know, you want to see what they look like. You want them to agree that they're not going to be so obtrusive that they're, you know, an obstruction. Public usually has a question about radiation and radio frequencies and things like that. Unfortunately, no one, including the town, can complain that the emissions from these antennae are going to create these health hazards because the FCC has preempted the field. And what they'll tell you is that the radiation from your cell phone creates more than the antennas anyways. So, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the town officials with some experience in this take a quick look at the application, and if they did that for the 26th, I'm sure they'd be able to give you what their recommendations were.
Well, that's one of my concerns, especially at 5 Water Street, is that that pole is pretty much directly in the center of a residential neighborhood. It's pretty tight together, and especially where it's right next to 5 Water Street. And regardless of what, in my opinion, the FCC says about health and all that, that's based on stuff prior to 1996, and the FCC can't dictate mine or anybody else's votes in regards to this, in my opinion, much like what we're seeing with the MBTA zoning. So when I was going through this, you're saying that they're going to have an engineer come in here and tell us that there's a wireless gap. they're gonna testify to it.
Yeah.
Now, the whole thing is that going through the paperwork, unless I missed it, I don't see anything in there in regards to them submitting anything in regards to what the wireless gap is, or speaking of it.
I saw the name of a wireless engineers in the application, and I assume that they'll have somebody that will be with them that night that will explain the gaps around these particular areas.
Well, shouldn't they have a part of their paperwork?
Yeah, well, so this is still kind of a new policy. I think I recommended that it be adopted in 2022, and I think the board adopted it probably late in 2022. We don't have a radio frequency engineer that works for the town, to my knowledge, so we could ask to have a radio frequency engineer review whatever information they have, and we might find out that there's something missing. I mean, when these applications come in, there's actually a process. We're supposed to actually sit down and say, do they meet the 15 submission requirements? I'm not exactly sure, because this is brand new for Ashley and Michelle too, so they may not have known that we have to, you're supposed to review these applications for completeness, and I don't know if it's in there or not. So, but I mean, if we had the town planner take a look at it, I bet he could do it in 5 minutes and say, everything's good.
All right, you know something, so my thought is that, let them make the presentation, and, you know, if we have to go a little deeper with a potential specialist on this, then maybe we can put that forward and see what
You can definitely do that.
everybody wants to do. Does anybody have any from the public on this, want to speak on it?
Hi, Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Yeah, I agree that it's not the place for town council or anybody else to tell people how they should feel about this or testify about it, or that it's a settled science or anything like that. People still have concerns about this. There is a documented hazard from this kind of radiation. These 5G towers are popping up all over town, you know. The other thing is, I would suggest you also include, you may want to include in this discussion the assessor and the building inspector. I don't know if the town realizes if these things are hung up around town. I don't know if the town realizes an increase in, you know, taxes, you know, from the utilities for these improvements to the poles. If they're not paying improvements or additional taxes, they should be. And the building inspector, so that's probably in the line of the assessor, and the building inspector probably has something to say about these things too. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. I had a discussion with Charlie about that earlier before the meeting. And I apologize to Steve and Trish. Did you guys have any comments on this?
No.
No, Trish?
So do we receive any money for putting these here, or is it strictly just to better the service in Marshfield? Marshfield residents?
I don't know, can Bob or Charlie?
You only receive money when they license the poles from us.
Okay.
But these must be either Verizon or Eversource poles. But if it was a town pole, and we do have some town poles, then would have to pay a licensing fee.
Okay, thank you.
The other issue that Charlie and I were going over is that they paid us $500 for this hearing, Bob.
Yep.
And we already spent money in regards to the notices and all that. Do they need to pay another $500 to restart this again?
No, because the hearing is technically open, and you're going to probably make a motion to continue, so there isn't any re-advertising or new notice required. You'll just announce the new date and time, and anybody that's here for the meeting tonight could then come back at that date and time and give their opinion.
Okay. All right, yeah, so there won't be any addition, we don't have to advertise it, there won't be.
No,
any-
you could actually make sure that the public knows that there won't be any additional advertisements to abutters, so the continuance you vote on will be their notice.
Okay. Well, Charlie, you're not going to be here in February, well, at least not to the end of it, so.
In spirit, I'll be here in spirit.
In regards to, Ashley, I don't know what our slate is looking like. Is there a good date, do you think we could fit this in? Because we don't know what's coming up as well.
When Charlie gets back? When do you mean?
Or even before Charlie gets back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the next ones we have the 26th, we have I believe the next ones are the 9th and the 23rd, because February 16th is President's Day, so we're off. So you could do the 9th, you could do the 23rd, and then I believe for March, it's also the 9th and the 23rd
All right, so
for the next dates.
does February 9th sound good to you, Steve?
Yeah.
Trish?
Sounds great.
And then we'll do that at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Joe, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, thanks. Just a response to comments by town council when it was stated that the only thing the utilities pay is licensing when the poles are installed. I don't know if that means they're getting away with doing improvements to those properties without paying an additional fee, because they're obviously profiting handsomely from doing this kind of service. They are selling this 5G service. So if they're only paying for the licensing of the pole, they should be paying for these improvements too. Maybe that's just a thing that people have let slide all these years. I think it should be looked into. Thanks.
I don't necessarily disagree. Joe, what are your thoughts on that, Bob?
Well, if you're currently a paying Verizon customer and you're getting poor service and poor cell reception, and this provides better reception in your living area, that's an improvement for you, and Verizon is bearing the cost of installing and constructing this device. So they are incurring a cost to provide a better service to their paying customers.
I do believe that they pay an excise tax for their poles, but what then they do is tack that excise tax onto their bills to the consumers.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at your bills, there's an excise tax. Yeah, they don't pay it. That
Well,
gets
they pay
billed.
us.
Yeah,
But then they charge their customers.
correct. Do you have something to add, John?
Well, I was going to say, I think one of the recommendations was even to ask our assessor's office to look at it. I do think they pay a small personal property tax, but we'll explore that based upon what I think you wanted us to reach out to these agencies. So we'll check with Anne Marie.
Well, I think the property tax is also something that's reassigned to the consumer as well.
Oh, no doubt about it, yeah. But I
I
do
would
think,
look at, I mean, I don't think Joe's incorrect, but that's the thing, unless, I think any kind of assessment or like that we put forward, they'll probably just add it on to the bill and pass it off to the consumer. Unless the law states that they have to pay it up front themselves.
yeah, I think it's dictated by the state what that payment is, but we can check with Anne Marie.
Did you have something to add, Steve?
No, thanks.
Trish?
No, thank you.
All right. So I'm going to, motion to close this public portion of the hearing. Do I have a second?
You're gonna continue it, actually.
We'll continue it first, then close it?
Don't close the hearing at all, you just continue it to a date and time.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. I move that the board vote to continue the public hearing to February 9th at 6 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
Howard Kelly, aye?
Steve Darcy, aye.
Patricia Simpson, aye.
All right. Ned Banks. All right, this is a discussion and vote, the use of trail cameras on town trails. Ned, take it away, pal.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Ned Bangs, current chair of the Recreation Trails Committee, and we want to talk about cameras on the trails. This is something I'd rather not talk about, but we have a problem, and it's been a consistent problem, and so we want to bring it to the board's attention and have some discussion on it, and then see where it goes from there. So, over the past year or so, the Trails Committee has witnessed an increased amount of vandalism on some of the town trails. So not all the trails, but some trails. And it includes spray paint, illegal dumping, wood pallets, dressers and bureaus, trash, bottles, cans, unattended fire pits, people left. We did have the problem areas we have right now. So there's a small parking lot on 3A heading towards ABC Supply on the right-hand side. There's on Forest Street where the start of the cross-country trail is. That's been a problem. The Jose Carrero Woodlands off of Maryland Street, Carolina Hill at the high point of Carolina Hill, and Couch Beach. And I can say that Eric and I probably at Couch Beach, we probably talked, 6 or 7 days in a row, or emailed or visited the site. It was an area that kids from out of town, we knew they were from out of town because they left their backpacks there. And it had their name in it, and they had the school that they attended and the town that it was in. And the place was a mess. The porta potty was tipped over, the boards ripped out, the campfire was left unattended. So what we're looking to do, or what we'd like to do, is to have a permission to put cameras in sites that we have problems with. And we're not looking to have cameras light up the trail, from every place that you go. But cameras are a fact of life. We spoke with the police department, and the chief supports the use of cameras on the trails. Today, if you walked in the town hall, there are cameras. Walk out of town hall, there are cameras. At the town pier, Wrexham Beach, Star Market parking lot. It's something that's here, it's not going away. We have, and we would look to work with, we spoke with Conservation. They support the idea. What we'd like to do is work with a small group, with maybe someone from the Board of Selectmen, Conservation, Police Department, Town Administrator, to come up with a draft policy on how to monitor the use, the locations, how they're set up, and what we do with the information that comes in. And most recently, we had our second annual mountain bike race at Webster's Wilderness, and the crew finished setting up on Saturday at 5 o'clock, so at dusk, returned Sunday morning, so this is yesterday, 8 o'clock to go over the trail, and there were 2 areas on the trails that had been vandalized. We had some traffic cones put up and some caution tape to set aside the route so everyone would know. Those things disappeared. Not sure why, or who took them, or why someone would want it. But, so that was an unexpected task that we had to complete before the race. It was finished. Jeff and Mark did a great job with it. The race that we had approximately 28 riders, so it was a small group. We had some that had never ridden before on the race, and it worked out well. Carol, Hamilton, we're thankful they opened up the senior center for this event. So registrations, get warm, bathrooms. We had some food there, and it was a good day all around. And so this just shows, it's a continuing problem. Not every trail. We're not looking to do cameras on every trail, but we'd like to work with a group to develop a policy that seems fair to work on, and that would address the issues that we have. That's my spiel.
All right. I understand, obviously, Ned, Couch Beach and all that and everything in regards to the situation up there and other parts of town. I myself am not a big person of cameras all over the place.
Sure.
I think they're intrusive. But I could see some special accommodations being made in regards to circumstances and all that. So I'm not opposed to having a discussion with this in regards to certain entities in town, and as well as the residents, and see what we can craft for a potential policy that we could put in place, because I imagine with the trail cameras you're talking about, you're probably going to have an SD card in there that's going to record over a period of time, then someone's
Yes.
got to retrieve it, and then now you got that information, right, how's that going to be handled and all that and everything. So there's a lot to discuss
Right.
on this in regards to it. So as I'm leery of just putting cameras everywhere as it is right now. Like you said, it's a fact of life, but if we can limit it, but make good use of it when a need comes, then, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
I do think, I'm not opposed to coming up with some kind of policy that has controls on it. Do you have anything to add, Steve?
Yes, if people were curious, I was going to ask Ned how the trail cameras work, but then I decided that we don't want teenagers to know that, so I will not be asking
Yeah.
that question. As long as there's a causal reason for doing it, I'm okay with putting up the cameras in selective areas, right? If we know there's a pattern of behavior where there's repeated dumping or, other violations occurring, I'm good with putting the cameras there so that we can catch them and, try to recoup some of the cleanup costs that we have to occur. So, as long as there's a good causal reason and there's evidence to justify putting them there, I'm okay with putting up the cameras in select spots. But if there are any teenagers watching, we're putting cameras everywhere.
I don't think we have teenagers watching.
Yeah, true.
Trish, do you have anything to add?
No, you guys have done a great job, and it must be very discouraging, because I've gone to Couch Beach and glass everywhere. It's such a beautiful place, and same with the place that you parked on 3A. I go
Yes.
there and go up Carolina. So I think even though there are signs there that say there are cameras, there aren't. But, no, I definitely think it's a necessity. So, I'm for it.
All right, I don't think there's, well, I don't know. I guess,
I don't even require, but I'm done. Jeez. It's not fun.
well, the motion here says a vote to approve the placement of trail camera conservation, but I think we need to come up with a policy first before we do anything like that. So I would say, Charles, next week's your last week, right? Or is it this week?
This week.
This week. Let's see if we can meet, and let's see if we can put something together in regards to putting something together where we can have all the entities involved, have a meeting, and then we can craft a policy. Does that sound good to you, Steve and Trish?
Yep.
All right, so we're not going to motion on anything. Let's see if we can put Charles before he leaves. If not, Peter's here. We'll put something together where we can have a public discussion on this.
Yep.
And then put something together that works for everybody.
Yeah, we don't expect it to, happen overnight, but we want to, make sure that we go down that trail, due diligence, and invite town council to be a part of it, as well as the town administrator, to make it to be something that we can all feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I think the entities involved, as well as the general public, especially when you're talking about surveillance cameras in use, I think everybody should have an input on this.
Sure.
So, absolutely.
Very good.
I want to make one quick comment that it's not just the vandalism issue, but there can be safety issues if people leave the fire burning. And I've been on a lot of the trail walks with Ned, and I've seen the destruction firsthand too. So something does have to be done sometime.
All right, Peg, I appreciate it. Okay, Ned, I appreciate it. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I can't believe the kids left their backpacks.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
wrong with kids nowadays?
We didn't need the CSI team to solve that one.
I know, really.
That town will be, won't say. Thank you.
Yeah, when Ned informed me about it, and I went up there to take a look around, I was like, oh, there's a backpack, yeah, but I'm like, do I want to touch it? I was like, am I gonna get a surprise out of it if I go through it, So, but gratefully, actually, I think it was Ned that went up there and retrieved it. He did go through it. I was like, I love you, Ned. I was like, I don't know if there was any. I didn't want to do anything because I didn't know what was in it. So, but other than that,
Ned
so.
living dangerously.
Yeah. Hope his insurance policy is up to date.
No, the whole thing is that, yeah, you could say he's imitated. I mean, it just shows how much he cares, and everything. So that's great. He does a good job with the trails as well as everybody that surrounds him. All right, let's go to number 8. I'm going to pass over Charlie and the team. We want to discuss a few other things. We may bring it up for in another meeting. Number 9, discussion vote interim town administrator contracts. Charlie, do you want to give a highlight on this?
So, as you know, my last day under my current contract is actually the 20th, but I'll just work through Friday. We've worked out, town council has drafted these agreements where Peter Moran, who sort of knows the routine, knows everybody, will step back in as a town administrator next Tuesday, the 20th. And I return on, I think, February 18th or 19th or something like that. So Peter will act in my stead while I'm away. The only things, the reason that we have two contracts, one for Peter and one for myself, is I'll continue to work on the budget and the warrant when I'm away, but it'll be at a vastly reduced basis compared to what I'm working today. And between Peter and myself, we'll make sure that we're working within the budget that has been established on a weekly basis, but it should be fine. So I will take a town laptop with me. I'll be working on the, town business while I'm away. So I think I'll have 3 computers when I'm out there, but whatever.
Do you have TSA pre-check?
Yes, I do. Because I have another little part-time job, as you all know. So anyway, I think, I've talked to Peter about it, and then we sort of have a game plan. We'll talk weekly, if not more often if necessary, so.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, do you want us to request that Peter not rearrange the furniture while you're gone?
He can do whatever he wants. He's actually senior to me, really, if you think about it, right? So,
You can do whatever he wants as long as he puts it back before you
he
get
was here first, right?
Trish?
No, I'm good, thanks.
All right, I mean, the only thing I gotta say is that, I think Peter's a good guy, but, and maybe it was just something between him and me. I wasn't the most thrilled with him, and especially when Charlie took over, it was certainly an eye-opening experience. It was night and day, in my opinion. I know Peter's been lined up and he volunteered to step up for us and everything like that. And hopefully, him and I can work together a little better than I think we did the last go-around for whatever reason. So I am skeptical of it, but also hopeful in the same process of the time that he's here. So,
Eric, I would just add that this is how all the best rom-coms start, so I'm very optimistic.
so, I'll be honest with you, as I'm still floating it through my head, I was like, I was not gonna vote in favor of Peter, but I was like, I don't want to vote no, and I was like, should I just abstain? But, I mean, the whole thing is that it's in front of us, and I'm gonna hopefully, good things will come about on Peter's second return here, so with that said. So I move that the board vote to employ former interim town administrator Peter Moran to serve as co-interim town administrator with Charles Sumner from approximately January 21st, 2026 through February 19th, 2026, and thereafter as agreed, at a rate of $100 per hour to perform day-to-day administrative duties as directed by the select board and agreed with Mr. Sumner. And further move that the board authorize Charles O. Sumner to work remotely for up to 10 to 15 hours per week during the same time period to complete the work on the FY27 operating budget and the in the 2027 special and annual town meeting warrant. And further approve 2 co-interim town administrator contracts for Mr. Moran and Mr. Sumner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right. So, discussion and vote on town administrator search process. I really, after the last time, I don't know how we should do this, so I am open to suggestions to move this process forward. So Steve, if you got anything, you put some thought into it, how you like to see it.
Yeah, I don't think the pool of candidates will drastically change in the course of a month, but I'm thinking, we have Charlie and Peter are at our disposal, who have done the job for a long time, and they've done it at a very high level. So they understand what the job takes and what it entails better than anyone. And so I would be in favor of empowering, Charlie and Peter to have some runway to try to recruit and vet different candidates to apply to the town, because what will be helpful with them is they're going to be able to look beyond the resume. They're going to know what the inside scoop is for anyone who applies for Massachusetts. They're going to know what was left out of the resume deliberately. They're going to know what was massaged that is on there. And they're going to have a fuller scope and understanding of who exactly the applicant is. So I think that would give us maximum flexibility, and I think that, there's a good chance that, they could produce really good results for the town. And then there's not any issues with any sort of personnel management or power dynamics, because there's no self-interest in whoever Peter or Charlie recommend, right? They've done this before in many other communities, and they want to leave the town in a good place. So, I think Charlie did a really good job finding our treasurer. I think that worked really well. So I would be in favor of empowering Peter and Charlie and giving them some flexibility and some runway to try to find a new crop of candidates. I don't expect it to happen overnight. It's only been about a month, but I would be interested in kind of floating that as an option.
Is that something that you want to take on with everything else?
Well,
I just thought I'd ask.
That's a fair question, yeah. That's fair.
Obviously didn't have a pre-conversation with them to what you're discussing right now, I take it.
Yeah, no chaser.
yeah, we didn't violate anything. What I would say is, I do think it would be good to have a committee of citizens and some other representatives. I would volunteer to serve, not as a voting member, just, I've done this in the other communities that I've worked on, all of them, where I've served as an ex officio member of the search committee, and I can do the role, and I would not charge the town for any of the time that I worked on this particular project. I would also recommend that we have Danielle Keller serve as an ex officio member. You don't want me keeping track of all the details. And, I'm sort of a 10,000 feet kind of guy. But I do think I would have a lot of value, and/or Peter as well. I think Peter's a great idea, too. I think that, going through the process and doing the interviews and having a structure is really important, having continuity in how we manage that process. But I do think between Peter and myself, we do know people's capacities and capabilities, and we do have other resources. I think the other thing that would be part of this process, if you wanted to go in some direction of this manner, is that the town has used some private services to do background checks, credit checks, things of that nature. So we want to have the capacity to do some level of testing and review beyond this process. So anyway, something along those lines.
So I also have given this some thought, and I do agree we need some community representation, and you had mentioned that when we talked before. So possibly a select board member, and then Peter or Charlie, and then Meg, and then I would highly recommend, when we ask for community input, that it's someone that maybe isn't ingrained in the system, that someone that can look at things with a fresh set of eyes. So I think if that would be our search committee, and then we could post an ad on the town website and the Massachusetts Municipal Association Job Board, LinkedIn, and local papers. And if we can get that done soon, it will just give us enough time, while we're lucky enough to have two people that are highly qualified, and I wish we could have them as our town administrator. I also thought of an ad, and I realize we're in a difficult time, and so it may scare someone away, but I was thinking that if we put something out there like Marshfield's a vibrant coastal community with a strong sense of civic engagement and a commitment to responsible growth. We are seeking a dynamic, forward-thinking town administrator to lead our municipal operations and help us navigate a new era of fiscal planning and community development. Just really trying to, I think everybody knows where we're at, but really, if someone wants to take on the challenge and, can really think outside the box, I think we've got to kind of market it that way.
That's what we need, is an outside the box thinker. Without a doubt. Can't be business as usual, do the same thing, especially with the hole that we're in right now. There's no doubt about that. And something, decisions are coming, and people are gonna get affected. And the whole thing is that if we don't start thinking outside the box, it's gonna be bad for everybody all around, So, I don't disagree. So, I think having, I don't know if we, unless, I would look at, I don't know if we have enough time to put something together when Peter's still gonna be here, but then maybe Peter might be flexible to be around when we start getting candidates and putting something together, along with Charlie. The whole thing is that I think you mentioned a makeup of the committee, what you're looking at, right? So could you just repeat what you're looking at?
Sure.
Yeah.
So one select board member, unless you want to keep us out of it until the final round, but I was thinking one select board member, Meg. Danielle would get all the applications and kind of peruse through them. One of the interims, and then some type of community representation. And I think we learned that we probably should stick with 5 in the search committee. I think 7 is just too big and too many schedules, and
One person from the public is what you're saying?
probably 2, because it would be, if we want voting members, probably 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'd
Maybe
like to make a
3.
suggestion, too. I think most of the comments have been really good. I like the idea of having Peter and Charlie working on that. I like your idea of marketing it as a challenge. I think I'd like to see perhaps 2 community people, and perhaps we could take somebody from the search committee like Andrew, who I think did a very good job with the tools he was given, and has some of the experience of having gone through some of that, just as a possibility, if he's willing to take that on again. But I think he'd be very qualified to do that, and then maybe one other person from the community. And I have mixed feelings about having select person on the committee, because you're going to get final review. So I'd rather see it be outside the select board with you having the final review. But just for the selection process, I'd like to keep it outside of that.
Okay, that makes sense.
I kind of disagree with that, because I think my look at it was, with this whole process is one, I think, in my opinion, between the interviews that Colin Senate did, I think that one big mistake was when they sat all 3 of us down separately, is that we never really had a discussion as a group in regards to what they were putting out. And so I think that was an impact on it. And I do think us 3 should be involved. Now, it was the one thing I've been thinking about, is that as the applications come in, should we have access to them? Because this way, we could be looking at them ourselves, but we could also have a team of people also. But the whole thing is that we have access, and we can look at their strengths and qualities and all that on top of other people. And then I would say that what we pick as or put together, I guess, for a search committee, I guess probably through an executive session, is all 3 of us could also come in and chime in and look at what we're looking at in regards to prospective candidates. So,
Well, I had mentioned this last time, if we could get 3 individual copies like we do with the scholarships, we each get copies of all of those,
Yep.
and we read through them, and then we put forward the names. So maybe we read through them, and if we see people that
And then we
stand
sort it out?
I don't know if that's possible, but,
I can't see why it wouldn't be.
I mean, it's not uncommon that we have at least one select board member on the search committee. So I would move that Trish be our select board member on the search committee. If there's a second, and if you
oh,
feel
thanks for
comfortable.
volunteering me. Why does Trish have to do everything?
I think before we get to that point, I think we need to hash out all this first, and how we're gonna set this all up.
So if we want to get to 5, from what I'm hearing, is there's a select board member who would vote, Meg would vote, there would be 2 citizens who would vote, Danielle as our HR director would be ex officio. So for the 5th person, do we want one of our interim TAs to vote? Or do we want?
No.
No.
Do we want Melissa, our treasurer, to be the 5th spot and her to
No.
vote?
Well, actually, no, because Meg can't vote because, in my opinion, because she's not a resident. I mean, she's probably somebody good to have input. I mean, I think anybody voting should be a resident of the town, and I think, and I believe that's probably, legally, I think that's probably what's supposed to happen.
Well, wasn't Meg part of the search committee process for the treasurer?
She was, but I don't think, was she a vote, was there a vote on that? I don't think we had a vote on that.
Yes,
I think she was just, somebody that was on.
I mean,
it.
I was a part of it too, I'm not a resident. So
Right.
I think that was sort of a staff-driven process, right? That, it's part of the data, you delegated that to the town administrator to manage that process. I picked a team of people to help. Eric participated actually as well. So this is a little bit different. It's your chief administrative officer for the town, and I think that my bias would be any voting member should be a resident.
So maybe,
And I think that, to me, we're building community support for our actions, and, we can provide staff function and advice, which is what I do today, right? But I like the committee that votes to be made up of residents of your community.
I think it definitely needs to be made up of citizens of the community to vote at the end of the day, to present to us. I also think that we should have access to the files in regards to who's gonna be putting in forward as a possible candidate for town administrator. But the thing is that with those, let's say we agree on 5 voting members from the town, is that, like, I think Charlie was hinting at, is that you could have a support staff of Meg, Danielle, right, to ask the question, especially their financial background and
Right.
something like that. So I guess it comes down to 5 voting members of the public, Charlie? And then I think we have to work out those that will be involved, that may not be voting members, but kind of help facilitate the process in regards to, I guess, helping vet the candidate we could look at.
And I'd be curious what town council felt, but, I think that we're going to get a series of applications or resumes. We're going to create a spreadsheet and a chart to help control that conversation. But having, as long as the select board aren't acting as a board, as long as town council felt this was lawful, if you all independently reviewed resumes, I don't see any harm in that, and then you made recommendations on who you thought we should interview. My bias is, when you go through these processes, is to have a broad net. You might have, hey, when I was my first town administrator, I didn't know what I was doing. Why they ever hired me is beyond my imagination. But they took a chance, I guess, when I was quite young at the time, I was 24, but, and I guess maybe it worked out for the towns that I worked in. But my only point is, you might end up with someone who might not be quite, have the breadth of experience that you might prefer, but you can backstop that by building a support and a mentoring program for a new person, too. And I think that's what, I like Trish's comments and part of the ad issue a lot, because it's showing you're thinking a little bit out of the box, and you're trying to find that person that is really important for this community moving forward. You know, there's a lot of work to be done. It's not going to happen overnight, and so you do need someone a little bit different, maybe. So we want to cast a broad net and not eliminate candidates without giving them an opportunity. So I kind of like that level of involvement by the select board, as long as council thinks we're not violating anything.
Bob?
My only suggestion for your consideration would be that you ask a town administrator or town manager in another community that's very experienced to sit on your pre-screening committee, because I think that person could help you formulate the right questions, or the pre-screening committee formulate the right questions, because this person, man or woman, would understand what a town administrator does.
But Charlie and Peter have no vested interest here. Like,
Right.
they don't live in this community, so
Well,
what's the difference? And to tell you the truth, I don't like the pool that's out there for current town administrators that are in their jobs right now.
Yeah, I mean, they probably know people that I would never know. So, you know, I really think it's important to have a pre-screening committee, because the pre-screening committee gets to meet in executive session and to conduct interviews. The makeup of the committee, I completely defer to you all, and that's your choice. But I do favor the pre-screening committee, and I actually don't have any problem with your select board seeing all the candidates, because, you know, you all might pick out somebody and say, we want you to interview that person too. And I think you should get involved at that stage, not as a board, individually, be given access to the things, and then you can communicate your decision to the chair of the pre-screening committee, and that person could be interviewed too. I think you might get benefit from a early review and then maybe even a final review, so.
One thing, Eric, is I keep thinking about the screening committee, and all the questions arose about how we came up with the people, and I almost feel like we need an objective set of eyes to look at anybody that comes in to be on that search committee. You know, so they don't know these people, they don't know. So
So when you say an objective set of eyes, I mean, in regards to the candidates, I mean, can you kind of highlight that a little bit more?
unfortunately, I'm looking at Charlie and Peter. No, once they get the people, once they get the applications, they go through and they choose 5 residents at large.
Oh, they picked the.
They choose the guests.
I like that idea.
I just don't think, I think we need, in all transparency, I mean, we know people that have put in for it, and in this way, it takes it out of our hands, and there's no, we pick certain people.
Well, I don't have a problem picking certain people. mean,
I know
That's
that.
the nature of the thing, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, if you're saying that we want to cast a wide net and get a pool of applicants to the citizen search committee and have Charlie and Peter select them, I like that idea, because then I think there's no tinge of it being a bag job or it being a political pick who the finalists are. So I like the idea, since Charlie and Peter have no vested interest in having them objectively pick your average, everyday citizen who doesn't have an axe to grind to make recommendations. So I like that idea.
And Charlie, it won't be a lot of work. It won't. You just got to look through it. And
Well, honestly, I was trying to get this, I don't care if it's a lot of work. I'm doing it, this community has been good to me in the short time I've been here. My profession has been good to me and my family, so this is a way for me, how I've handled it in the past, to pay back. And so whatever it takes, you deserve. This community is a lovely community. You're going through a lot right now. You deserve a good process. Try to find a good candidate. I don't care what the workload is. I'm all in, if you want me to be.
all right,
Thank you, Charlie.
give it all to them.
Yeah, look, my look at it is that I'm not for that idea. I mean, if you two both vote for it, so be it. My look at it is that I think it should be, put a list out, and we pick the people, and it is what it is. You know, just because of what happened previously, and people squawking and trying to get me ousted and all that, well, I'll go back, you know, the thing is that all three of us were elected in this position to make these decisions and all that, and not everybody's gonna agree with us, and, you know, something, that's the way it is. But, you know, my look at it is that I think it should be up to us three to select those who put their names forth in regards to what we wanna do. So the whole thing is that, I guess I'll ask both is, because I don't think we can put this all together just yet, but where should we start in regards to the process?
So I move that we create a 5-member citizen screening committee for a TA finalist, and that that 5-member board be selected by Charles Sumner and Peter Moran. Is there a second?
Can I add something to
Totally.
that? Can we have a due date, a final due date, and then no more applications for the search committee after that? And I think it should be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today?
Yeah.
So our first meeting in February is February 9th, right? So you want just the application window to be 2 weeks, not necessarily to have the 5 finalists selected?
No, just the applications, if you're interested, you get in the application by 2 weeks from today, and that way we know that they're all in, and then the process can start.
Okay.
So the 26th.
Do we want to give them until the 29th, which is a Thursday?
No.
Okay. That 26th?
We're all adults, they're all adults. If they want to be on it, they can get it in. I mean, last time was a joke. It just kept streaming and streaming.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all new at it, and the whole thing is that we just didn't have a good, we learned, so like, what's going forward right now. So the whole thing is that, yes, we need an end date, absolutely. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. I guess it just comes down to, you want the 26th, what are you looking at, Steve?
Does Charlie think that's reasonable, or is that too much of a time frame?
What is today's date? 12th. No, I think it's fine. We'll put it on the website, put it on Facebook, we'll,
Maybe
Tidbits?
2 weeks from tomorrow then, so
Yeah.
that it goes out?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tuesday better?
Yeah, by 4:30 PM, that's when town hall closes.
Yep.
All right, so I move that we create a 5-member citizen screening committee for the next town administrator, and that the 5-member committee will be selected by Peter Moran and Charles Sumner, and that all applications to serve on the citizen search committee must be submitted by 4:30 PM on Tuesday, January 27th. Is there a second?
Second. Are we still discussing after? Because I have a few more ideas.
Well, before we take a vote, I would say discuss it right now.
Well, so I also think our next meeting, we should come up with an ad, right? Is that something we need to vote on? So,
Didn't you just come up with one?
well, do you want it? I mean, it is pretty good.
I
No,
like
it's not, let's put it this way, let's take this on, get this going, and then we'll take up the ad and everything else, I guess, afterwards, in my opinion.
So let's vote on this motion, and then I'm interested in discussing the ad. if that
Okay.
Works.
Town hall closes at 4, not 4:30.
Yeah, he knows, but then it can go online.
Then we can, okay.
Yeah.
Just check.
Okay.
Okay, all right, second.
All right.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, since there's been a lot of input,
Go ahead, Joe, don't worry about explaining.
you know, contemporaneously,
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't know why the select board would be giving up the power to control this appointment process, this screening process, why in the world would it be turned over to people that are not residents of the town without a long-term stake?
No, it's choosing the screening members.
That's what I'm saying. So you're diluting your power to choose from the community, and you're diluting the power of having the community in charge of this process.
They will be in
And
charge.
it should be.
They will be. This is just choosing the search committee.
I don't know the criteria that this choosing process, or what the process of choosing would actually be. What does that mean, that they would choose?
All I know is we're trying to do something different than what's been done in the past.
Just because it's different doesn't mean it's better. I mean, you're
Well,
taking
look
away
where
the
we've-
control of the
look where we've
community.
gotten
And I've
our-
already been told by you personally that you were directed by Mr. Moran that I could not be on that committee. So there's a bias in
No,
there.
he was not, he did not direct me
There's a
to-
bias in there, and that's what I like to get to the bottom of. These people may have biases, whereas you represent
Oh,
the
we don't.
electors, the people that elected you.
All right, Joe.
And it should be as pure as possible, a community-controlled process. Thank
You
you
noted,
for
Joe.
letting me
Thank
speak
you.
up.
You're welcome. All right, you put a motion forward. You still good with it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say no to it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I move that we adopt the language for the advertisement previously proposed by
Well,
Mr. Simpson.
hold on. I want to reread it. I mean,
Sure.
it sounded good,
Can
but
I-
I want to see the print.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Do you have it in print?
Yeah,
Can I read it?
sure. It's right there. Town Administrator Marshfield.
All right, so the salary is supposed to be 190 to 210, I believe.
Okay, well.
That's
that
what
can
was
be
agreed
changed.
on. The last go-around. I mean, I think,
Do you want to read it out loud?
I will. Let me just read it to myself first. When you say sustainable growth, what do you mean by that?
Sustainable growth, can I see mine?
Yeah.
Where are you looking?
The last one, last bullet point you had there.
Oh, drive strategic initiatives for us to continue to grow with responsible, we can change that, like, to responsible development, sustainable growth, that we continue to grow and
I know, what kind of
bring
growth
money
you-
in. Bring money in, like, income to the town.
So like, develop the town more?
No, not necessarily. Maybe bring businesses in, look at parking fees, I mean, all the things that are being discussed right now.
Okay.
But
Just wanna-
trying to-
I just
trying
want
to-
to make sure, because when they
Yeah.
start using those key words, it's generally what they want to.
Oh, no, but, I mean, I'm all for responsible development, not overdevelopment. That's it.
That was it? I say it's a good start. I would probably note that it's not limited to it, but,
Yeah, I figured it was open for discussion, and you can change anything you want, but I just wanted to have something, because I know the residents would like to see that we are moving towards hiring someone permanent,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's a 3-year marriage if we pick somebody, so there's no doubt about that. Do you want to read this, Steve?
I'll take a look. My only thought is, I'm good with the language, and I think it captures what we're looking for, and people are gonna know what the job entails, so I don't wanna overthink this to death. My only thought is, we still have final authority for what this person is going to be paid, and we're going to negotiate with whoever we select. My only thought is the town administrator that Kingston hired away from Abington, they're paying that town administrator more than the top end of what we offered. So we can still pay below that, but I'm curious about increasing the top end of that range to see if it attracts more applicants. Just curious what your thoughts are.
I mean, I think what we put forward attracted applicants, though we don't know who they all are. In my opinion, I think the two that are in front of us weren't that bad. I think it's just a difference of where they were at. Well, at least one of them was. The other one, I don't think was all that bad, but I think, and then we're in a financial mess right now. So, I mean, I think increasing it anymore than what it is, I don't even think it should be as much as what it is right now, but I think increasing it anymore, I don't think is a good practice for us right now, in my opinion.
Well, I'm hoping that we get such a dynamic individual that they come to us and they may understand this would be the starting point and that we can see where it goes, or maybe they want a discussion about it, or they understand this might be the starting point and we can talk about an increase in the future if things look better, or...
Yeah, because I was just thinking that, right, I mean, if you attract a top candidate, that difference, they will more than offset with efficiency gains and good practices and good management, no fines, no wasted dollars and things of that nature. And again, we don't have to pay it. I just want to see if maybe we attract more applicants if we did a top end of 230 instead of 210. And again, we don't have to end up there, but I just want to see if we attract more applicants because of that, because that's kind of where the market rate is going. And Kingston paid more than what we offered at our top end, and they're a smaller community than we are, and they've had like 5 town administrators in 8 years. So again, we don't have to do it, but I'm wondering if we just did a top end of 230, so it's 190 to 230, if we might get some more applicants.
I mean, what I look at is that, and I stated this, is that, and I think this is one reason why we're in the financial rut that we're in, is because you hear from people, well, this community's paying this for this position, this community's paying this, they're getting this benefit. And the whole thing is that you can't base it on that, you can only base it on what you can afford. And we really can't afford that much right now, in my opinion. I think what we put forward in regards to the last TA was more than exceptional. I'll be reluctant to increase it any more than what it is, to be honest with you. I mean, look, like, I look at it that, I think Trish highlighted this, if they do a good job in those 3 years and things turn around, then, maybe we can increase their salary or pay bump them at that time. But right now, I just think that it's not good economics for us to increase what it is. But, I mean, obviously, there's 3 of us here, so that's my thoughts. I don't know what your 2 thoughts are.
My concern is if you put down 230, people come right in and ask for it. Now, Charlie, would you recommend some type of language, like negotiable, or?
What I was going to say
It's
is,
at the bottom.
Commensurate
see.
with experience is the common disclaimer. Kind of protect yourself.
Yeah.
what I was going to say, there's a few things. I definitely would like to take a look at the ad. There are some legal issues that we would want maybe include in here.
It was just a.
Yep, I just don't want to have my hands tied.
No.
All right, so we're not gonna-
I think it would be, if I could just think about this a little bit more, the reality is, people like me are making a lot more money than I ever dreamed of when I was working. The salary structures has changed. I think this is close. I just think if there's some way we can put some language in here that doesn't restrict you. If you get a candidate, it costs a lot more than $10,000 to hire the wrong person. Mm-hmm. And the wrong hire, the cost relative to operational issues will pale in comparison to a few dollars. So I just don't think you want to totally tie your hands in going into the process, that's all. I think 200, 210, you're in the right ballpark, but I just don't want to see you lose someone for a small amount of money.
Well, I don't think you lose anybody. I mean, the whole thing is, all right, we set the range right there, but put your name in, and if you're more than, we can talk about that afterwards.
That's good enough. I think, maybe I could work on this ad a little bit for your next meeting.
Ms. Anderson, you have anything to say?
Sometimes you get what you
Name
pay.
and address, please.
Martine Anderson, Weathervane Lane. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and a good town administrator will save the excess that you think is too much in running a good town and helping us with the budget. The other thing is, it's pretty easy to do a survey of towns of similar sizes as ours and demographically. We are very large geographically, but we also are one of the larger populations around. But what you do is, what you already know, is you get the range of what other towns are paying, and so that you have a range that anybody who's applying for the job knows it's based upon what other towns pay. And if somebody does a great job and we get a bargain to begin with, then we can give them a reward. But I think we're looking for somebody who is willing to come in, and many towns are in big financial straits. I have friends who live in Whitman, and they are beside themselves. So it's just it's a sign of the times. But if you get the general, which you already have done, I mean, you know what the range is of towns of 26,000, which is what we are. And I think you're doing a great job, and I'll be back on your next meeting. Thanks,
Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. All right, Trish, what do you want to do?
Well, I think we let Charlie take a look at that and
All right,
make
so no-
sure it's all structured, and then we talk about it next meeting.
Okay, so no motions on this, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I like this a lot, though, so.
All right, so the only motion we're going to present is just starting the search committee, and then Charlie and Peter will oversee the process of picking those people. All right. Okay. Number 11. Declare the health equipment, furniture, imagine it's a Board of Health equipment, furniture, or surplus for auction destruction. Kathleen Duddy is requesting to dispose of one file cabinet and 2 desks which have been sitting in the hallway on the first floor of Town Hall for auction or destruction. I think I've asked this before, when we have excess equipment, and I'm not too sure, Charlie, if you even know, I think that stuff ends up in another building.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see maybe a file cabinet or whatever. I mean, do we need to take an inventory of what we have and then decide, get rid of it, scrap metal, or whatever else like that?
Yeah, thank you. On that very note, I was talking to Rebecca Ruffley and Fred today. The Alamo, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, but I haven't been too many places. So one of the things that Rebecca and I have utilized is there's a web-based surplus government equipment place called GovDeals. And so, what I always do is check with other departments, see if somebody has a need for it, make sure we don't need it internally. And then, Rebecca and I, independent of each other, have used GovDeals a lot to try to maximize what we can get for surplus equipment. And so when we had a meeting today, we were going to go visit the Alamo because I guess there's quite a bit of surplus equipment there that just keeps getting moved around, and it's in the way. And so if we don't need it, let's try to sell it and free up space and maybe even generate some income for the town's general fund. So I was going to do that anyway when I get back.
Glad I brought it up. Okay. Any thoughts, questions, Nancy?
No, thank you.
Can we get some nice furniture, if there is any, in the Alamo for like the entrance to Town Hall? It's just so blah, especially with no Christmas
I
decorations.
know. I'll take a look. Yeah, I do get, it's kind of cluttered and a little.
Even if we could
What are you
take the
looking for
chairs and,
specifically?
well, you know the little sitting area we have in here? It'd be nice if it was down there and just, I don't know, make it look more inviting. It's just so school-like, or, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, it looks so nice with all the decorations, if I do say so myself.
So are you looking for like a sitting area with a coffee table and?
Sure, plants,
Some plants,
coffee
big or
maker.
real plants, whatever you got.
I think I do understand what you're talking about, so let me, without spending any money, right?
Yeah, no money spent.
Let me just look around and see what we have. Maybe we can just make it a little more inviting and comfortable. And if you had a couple of comfortable chairs where people were sitting,
Yeah.
talking about
Towns.
how bad the select board were,
Yeah,
you know, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
That never happened.
Maybe one of us will just happen to cruise by and join in the conversation.
That's right.
you know, So
Eric will charge right in, right?
I would say if we're gonna do something like that, I'd say just, if we do set something up, check with fire and anybody else that needs to, in regards to,
I suppose I should have checked with them before decorating, huh?
yeah, that's the only thing I would have, any concerns with, just make sure it's good with them in regards to it. So, all right, I move that the board vote to declare one file cabinet and 2 desks from the Board of Health as surplus and able for auction or destruction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Oh, number 15, yeah, we'll table that for a later date. So just make sure, I know we got executive session after this we gotta take up. We did the public hearing, appointments.
Meeting minutes.
Or just your meeting minutes, too.
Yeah, the meeting
No, you know
minutes.
that, yeah.
Yeah, all right, so I think it's just meeting minutes and then executive session. So, Steve, any questions or concerns with the meeting minutes?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
Like I told Ashley and Michelle, I thought they were spectacular. Both did a great job with the meeting minutes, I thought, when I went through them earlier. So you up to good work. I move that the board vote to approve the draft meeting minutes from December 1st, December 2nd, and December 22nd select board meetings. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that concludes the select board meeting. In regards to that, we're going to go into executive session. I move that the board vote to enter an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to wit, police union collective bargaining matter, and that the board return to, actually, we're not going to return to open session at the conclusion of the executive session. Is that good enough, Bob?
Yes, it is, Eric.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Eric Kelly, aye?
Steve Darcy, aye.
Trish Simpson, aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.